Welcome everybody to episode 29 of Charts and Checks. You are here with the very same host, Alvaro Pereira of the Bilingual Stock Market Channel, and myself, Don Foyani, the gorilla with glasses. And today we have a special guest from chart history. His name is Don Lett. This is going to be a fun podcast today. And he is a technical whiz. And Alvaro, if you'd like to add any more context, go on ahead.
Not really much to say here. So hello, folks. Welcome back to Charts and Checks. So this is a very, very, very good friend of mine. And we've been trading together for more than 5 years so far. So he's like some sort of a mentor. He's been like some sort of a mentor to me. And he's taught me a lot of stuff. And it's an honor for me. I'm honored because he finally joined us on an episode. He's finally joining us on an episode of Shorts and Checks, and this is going to be a good one. So buckle up, guys.
And, all right, Don, go ahead, take it away. I think you wanted to start by looking over the SPY.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for inviting me into your chat. I mean, into your podcast. And yeah, let's go ahead and start with the SPY.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's it's kind of what's happening overall in the major markets. It's always good to start in that direction. What you're looking at here on my charts, it's a multi-time frame to begin with, okay? And what you have is you have the weekly right here, you got the daily right here, then you got a 4 hour, a 1 hour here, and then the 15-minute right here, okay? So as we drive into it, then we can go ahead and maximize a window. And you can see right now, when I look over here at the weekly right here, it's actually pushing right across the top here on this 690. And it's looking like, to me, like it wants to break that 690. And that's verified also on the daily time frame as well. And you can see also from my moving averages labels indicators that all of the moving averages, the price is above most of the moving averages on the daily time frame, also on the 4 hour time frame, and it's becoming very constructive in regards to the slope as well, if you notice. So the slope is turning around. This is like a turnaround story. It looks like it wants to break out of 690. If it breaks and holds 690, I think you're looking at upside on this.
7,000. What do you think would be the catalyst for the S&P to finally reach 7,000 or maybe burst above 7,000 points or $700 in the SPY? I mean, maybe the earnings reports that are coming out next week. So we have a very busy week on earnings. So we have Microsoft reporting and Apple and Meta. We'll be reviewing most of those stocks in today's episode. But what do you think could be the catalyst?
Are you asking me or
for the S&P 500 to finally make the final push up to the 7,000s?
Are you asking me or are you asking Gorilla?
I'm asking you. You were showing the chart. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, okay, because once again, I really focus on the technicals. I don't really, I'm not really, in the long term, I think about certain kinds of catalysts. For me, if I'm thinking about what is the catalyst for this, the Mag 7, the biggest stocks in the world right now have been beaten down really since November. Mm-hmm. We're getting ready to go into earnings. This is one of the first times we've gone into earnings.
That's why I was asking you about Microsoft and Meta and stuff, because those stocks are, I mean, Meta is having a day today, right? It's up almost 5%, yeah. But Meta is still like, I don't know, 10%, 12% off the highs.
It got to upgrade today. But if you think about it, like every time we've gone into earnings in the past, all these stocks were already elevated, and then they beat the earnings, and then right away they gave that back. That was in the last quarter. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of thinking now that if we don't get a run up right before earnings, that these will probably still beat because they're still looking pretty good. And then on top of that, we might even get gaps and goes in this case for our and get us up into the 7,000 range.
So you believe that a lot of bad news are already priced in on stocks such as Meta, Microsoft, and Apple. So you believe that the risk could be potentially to the upside?
Yeah,
and I mean, unless obviously the reports, come out like worse than expected, which hasn't been the case lately, right? These companies are killing it.
Yeah.
or have been
I-
killing it, I should
They've
say.
been really beaten down. But if you look today, like here's a little thing that I have right here.
Mhm.
It kind of shows them in their lists about what they're doing. If we look at like how they're doing, just even today, they're all beating the SPY. Okay, there's the SPY
Yeah.
down there.
Mhm.
Apple's the lowest of the bunch, but Meta's killing it. Tesla's killing it. Microsoft, which has been a really dog lately, is
It's
turning
been tough.
around. Amazon and
Um,
Google have really been pretty strong, and then
I
Nvidia's been
mean,
sideways forever. It seems like, but even Nvidia's starting to get some legs.
what do you think, Don Fayani, about this?
Yeah.
Do you believe that the bar is very low into these
Well,
reports?
I actually have in generally speaking, for the Mag 7, it's hard to make a case that they're not, with the exception of maybe Alphabet, given they're still trading near the all-time highs and momentum is still
Or maybe
there.
Tesla, right? Because of the valuation.
Oh,
So
right. It's funny. They had Kathy Wood on CNBC, I think it was yesterday, and she intentionally
saw
said the
that.
Mag 6 to exclude Tesla
Mhm.
because she doesn't really bucket that into the AI story. At least that's how I understood her characterization.
Mhm.
I think, though, Don, correct me wrong, I think the point you were making was a run up into the earnings would be the market endorsing or pricing in a strong report. So, like, kind of seeing that beforehand would be the market showing its hand, so to speak.
Well, yeah, but then I'm saying that maybe you might not get that bounce as much
Okay.
on earnings. We've had such
I
a
see what
run
you're saying.
down, is what I'm saying, over the last couple of months, that and especially in tech, big tech like that, and it's been being sold off for for actually the Dow, which has been
Yeah,
interesting to me because we haven't seen the
right
Dow
on.
going crazy like this in a very long time. And then on top of that, small cap is starting to actually pick up some movement.
All right.
Take a look
Hey,
at
So
this.
Alvaro,
So yeah, we
Alvaro,
have.
real quick,
Yeah, go
before
ahead.
we get into this, you
Uh-huh.
asked if you asked for what a catalyst could be to get
Mhm.
above 7,000. Let me share this with you.
Okay, go ahead, bro. Sure. Let me stop sharing. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right.
Awesome.
Doop. So this is the S&P or the SPY. This is the forward 12 months earnings for all of last year. We pretty much ended the year where we started the year at 23 times. I
Which
think
is an
all this
expensive
means is that,
valuation, right?
I think what this means is that earnings need to be the catalyst. We need to see earnings come through
Agreed.
on the SPY because we
100%.
don't have a
Mhm.
lot of room for valuation expansion.
Mhm.
And when
Mhm.
you get to a point like this, you actually finally have the stock pickers market where you can't expect a lot of help from valuations. So your stock returns are probably going to be based, even in the short term, on how earnings do instead of just the long term, because you can't
Mhm.
really explain what the stock market does on a day to day basis for the most part. But when you zoom out and you compare it to earnings, you see that fundamentals tend to take a hold of the price. But now
Correct.
that we're at 23 times forward, it's kind of a place where it's been. We were there pretty much for, it looks like, let's call it 8 or 9 of the 12 months of last year. I think this year is going to be all about earnings growth. So if Microsoft can give us 12% earnings growth, I think Microsoft will return us 12%. And I don't think it needs to be any more complex than that.
So, what I think will be very interesting about the ongoing earnings season is the fact that everyone is expecting the other 493 stocks, or I mean, we can say 495 stocks if we exclude Apple and Tesla out of the list or out of the Magnificent Seven. So everyone is kind of expecting the other 495 stocks inside the S&P 500 to do the heavy lifting on earnings. So that is going to be very interesting because, I mean, let's face it, guys, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia, and what else? What stock am I missing here? Another Magnificent Seven. So these
Yeah, go ahead.
stocks have been killing it. Meta platforms, of course. So they've
Right.
been killing it. And therefore, they have been justifying their multiple expansion, which, by the way, there's been none multiple expansion since, I don't know, like the beginning of, or I would say like August or September of last year. So now the other 495 stocks inside the S&P 500 need to show, or they need to validate the rotation, the very clear rotation that we are seeing out of the Magnificent Seven as of now into those other 495 stocks. So this is where the situation could get interesting because, I mean, I mean, not every company out there can grow the way that Microsoft grows, or Google grows, or Nvidia does it, Broadcom. So you get what I'm saying. So next week is going to be extremely, but extremely important.
And this kind of goes to what you were saying, Alvaro. That's why I put this up here. This is the 3-month percentage, right? I took the gray out. I took the 0% out. But if you look right here, I mean, when has Microsoft been down 13% in 3 months? That and Meta,
Unbelievable.
and then Apple. And I know that there's people like looking at AVGO. Is that one actually bottomed out as well? And actually, this entire tech sector right here, look at this. It's mostly red. You know,
Yeah.
Great companies, most of them. Great companies.
exactly, exactly.
And with reasonable valuations as of now, such as the case, I mean, that is the case of Microsoft, but I mean, not Microsoft, but Meta. Meta is, I mean, it's undervalued. I'm sorry. I have to say it. Unless the markets are, are up to something. And
Now,
maybe,
I will say,
I don't know.
in regards to AI, there's been another theme that's been coming out lately, and that's the energy theme. NVIDIA could build all these chips, and they're building all these centers, but then they're worried that they can't get the energy to do it, to actually run the centers. And that's why you're seeing energy like this run up, energy here, and then also like your industrial
Utilities.
services. And then the darlings right here of the chips right here, like LRCX, AMAT. These
memory
guys are
stocks. I mean,
actually, they're in
that's
the
a
producing
whole different story.
manufacturing area. So they're actually been running, even though the chips have been giving it back. So that's been really an interesting story to me.
What do you think, Dan Fayani, about this? The other 495 stocks doing the heavy lifting?
I don't have much to add. I think you guys have nailed it. I think if AI isn't a bubble, then you need to see these smaller companies buy AI and turn that investment into some real return.
Right.
And the best way that that can show up is by people raising their earnings estimates in the small caps and the mid caps. And we're seeing that. I don't know if you guys have looked at the IJR lately, but the PEG ratio on that is really, really low, meaning that we're finally starting to price in a whole bunch of growth.
For sure. And don't get me started with software stocks. What a disaster, guys. I mean, that is going to be very interesting during this new earnings season. So what is going to happen when the CrowdStrikes of the world and the Palo Altos of the world report? Needless to say, the Microsoft of the world. So Microsoft is about to report next week. So could there be a turnaround story in the software space? That will be very interesting. So yeah, we're about to witness very interesting situations.
I would hope so. But to the point about Microsoft, I think there's still a lot of uncertainty surrounding OpenAI and their ability to make good on all of these financial obligations. If you're Microsoft and you're going to own anywhere from 20 to 27% of OpenAI, your stock is going to trade a lot like what people think OpenAI is going to do, because I'm sure there's a handful of people that started jumping into Microsoft because they saw it as a public proxy to the private company.
Well, now you are going down one path that I'm actually very familiar with. In my previous occupation, and I'm retired now, and I'm focusing totally on the stock market. Okay, but in my previous occupation, I was a product manager, and I was all about AI and everything else. So I'm 100% into it. I talk to ChatGPT even now, probably more than I talk to my girlfriend, and 4 to 6 hours a day. I'm writing code, building indicators, doing stuff with the ChatGPT. When Microsoft first came out with OpenAI, they were light years ahead of everybody else in regards to AI. But what's happened then since then is that Google has actually gotten their stuff together, and they're surpassing ChatGPT. And I've even had some conversations with ChatGPT, and it even acknowledges it. And Google
Is
a
ChatGPT
beast.
like acknowledging
Google
that
is
Gemini
a
is better?
beast. I'm telling you right
That's
now.
funny.
Don't take your eyes off Google. Google deserves all of the gains that it's gotten lately. Pullbacks in Google are viable for long-term investors. Buy Google. I'm telling you, they're kicking butt. And then another one too. One
Yeah, go ahead.
more too, and you talked about it earlier, Donnie. and Kathy Wood talking about that Tesla is not AI. That's a ridiculous statement because Grok is also kicking butt and everything and they're actually taking AI and implementing it into a lot of different things. And that's what people are wanting to see. The investors want to see, okay, we don't want to hear any more about that you're investing in it and spending tons of dollars. We want to hear that you're actually making money and using this to make money. Tesla's also it's going to be a
at some
behemoth.
point in time, Dan, do you believe that Tesla will be like integrating Grok into whatever they do? So do you see like Tesla really becoming
it's not just
an
Grok,
AI company?
It's AI. It's AI itself.
Yeah, artificial intelligence.
Robotics, robotaxi. I'm a believer. I'm a 100% believer in Tesla.
Good.
I just
you used to be very bearish, and I used to be very bullish on Tesla. So that's
but man, I'll day trade that stock every day.
Hey,
the script flip here, Dan. You remember
before we
when
go
we
any
met
further,
like 6 or 7 years ago?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. When I first met him many years ago,
Mhm.
I used to be a Tesla bull, and he was actually a Tesla bear. And now the whole situation flipped.
Well,
okay.
I think Don and I are similar in that way. It wasn't until I got a Tesla on my own and saw it drive itself that I could really see the thesis come to life.
Same here.
And I will say this. Kathy Wood may have also been referring to Apple. So in the comments, if you're upset that Don was so upfront about that, it was because of me. If you missed it, so you can send those comments to Donnie and not Don. That was a slip up on my end.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna ask a question here about Microsoft. So take a look. This is Microsoft income statement. So yeah, I get that there might be concerns about the OpenAI side of Microsoft's story, but take a look at these guys. You cannot tell me that Microsoft will be relying exclusively on OpenAI for future growth. So how of the highs is Microsoft? It got to be pretty much in a bear market or 15, 16% of the highs. And take a look at the year-over-year revenue growth of Microsoft since early 2024. 17%, 17%, 15%, 13%, 18%, 18% on its last reported earnings. So I am not a Microsoft bull by definition, let's put it that way. But I think that a lot of bad news have been already priced in, and the commercial execution of this company is absolutely outstanding. Take a look at the net income, $27 billion on the last reported on the last reported quarter. So I think that this company deserves, in my opinion, the benefit of the doubt. And I don't necessarily see Microsoft depending so much on whatever is going to happen with OpenAI later on down the road. So I would be surprised it can happen. And you guys know that I never make any predictions. I only, follow. I only do whatever the technical shorts tell me to do. But I would be very surprised if Microsoft, unless Microsoft, I don't know, reports worse than expected. But if this company reports better than expected, as it has been the case during many years, I think that a lot of bad news are already priced in here. So this is going to be, in my opinion, by far the most interesting earnings report that is coming out next week. Thoughts on this, Danny and Dan?
Well, I would say the only thing that I could say to maybe counter that is I don't think the results have been bad thus far. And I think that the downtrend has to do with sentiment surrounding OpenAI and what that all means. So if earnings aren't the problem, then earnings aren't going to be the fix.
So do you see a potential scenario in which this company kills it once again?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Awesome. John, go ahead. What do you get for us on Microsoft?
Well, it's agreeing with I think your guys' analysis. You can see over here on let's just go ahead and zoom this one out. You can see out over here on the weekly chart.
I love this chart.
It actually hit my measured move that I had. I had done some analysis on this, and up around here, I was like, okay, it looks like it's going to go to here. And I put them in purple so I can see them for future purposes. But it hit that weekly measured move. And then I have another one down here that if it's really weak, it's going to go down to this other spot here. And that number
what price is that, Dan?
It's right around 425.
425, okay.
Yeah, and another thing too, Alvaro, for your users, I also did this. I actually created my technicals where they would actually put the numbers on the charts so they can see it themselves. So they can always pause the video to see what the levels are that I'm looking at. But if we go over to one of the other time frames, like let's take a look at you look
Oh,
over
by
here
the
at
way,
this
Don,
daily.
the expected move on
Yeah,
for the report is $24. So,
$24. Okay.
yeah, so
It
it
could
could be going down to that level that you just pointed out, the downside.
Yeah, but it looks like it's trying to break this daily downtrend line right here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Looks like it's
buyers are trying to step in. Maybe we
looks
could
like it's
see
trying to
some
break
sort of a
that.
front running into the report. So who knows?
Yeah.
hmm
And if we might end up, like, walking up here a little bit into earnings right there. And I think 465 is going to really be pivotal, if it can actually carry that, because then we've now set up a base and we're ready to roll. Also on this thing here, I also have a custom indicator I call a snapback. You can see on this 4-hour chart
I
right
use that
here,
one. Yeah.
it put in a snapback low. And what a snapback means is that there was a buyer down here. It moved extremely far. All of a sudden, there was a buyer that came in and bought. So, all of a sudden, the hand is shown that there's somebody down there, and it looks like that number is right around 438 um, for a buyer down there in Microsoft. So, you know, this is uh, this is kind of, to me, setting up like what we were talking about. You see this ABC pattern here,
hmm
right here, A,
B and C.
B, C right there, and then it had another one, A, B, C right here.
hmm
Yeah.
Okay. So really been hammered lately, and maybe it's time to actually turn around. It's definitely one
Yeah.
to
So
watch.
I have a question for both of you. Say that the company beats on everything per usual, and the report is great, and free cash flow wise, net income wise, and the stock gets hammered, goes down $24. Would you be buying the dip on a better than expected report if the reaction, who knows, it could be the case, is negative? Would any of you buy the dip?
I always say that stocks top on good news and not bad news. I'd wait.
There you go. What about Dan Let?
I don't really buy like that. I buy off
Mhm.
a big part of what I do is off of moving
I don't know. Maybe
averages.
you could sell a put. You like selling puts, so you never
I
know.
do, but a big part of what I do is off of moving averages. So you see, you got a downward
Mhm.
trend line of moving average. Here you then
Yep.
level out, and then all of a sudden the moving averages start moving up, and it was short lived in this case, and then they lost it again. But
Mhm.
if you look here, we got that downtrend right here. It's leveled out, and now it's just now starting. It's been beaten up so much. Maybe now we can finally get that move up.
That's
So
very
What le-
instructive. Do you,
that's how I trade.
Yeah, what high? What price did you have at that high? Done at that higher high that you have over there
The highest high here, right here,
above the blue
four,
line?
huh?
Yeah, at the on the bottom of the
you have like
chart,
a
done.
teal line. It looks like
Oh, right here,
456.
448.
There
I
you
can't
go.
Oh,
make those
448.
numbers
My
bigger.
bad.
Oh,
That's
okay,
part of
okay,
the
okay, perfect.
platform.
Okay,
My
awesome.
bad.
So it's
There you go.
448, and
It,
that's the
um,
one right here. But it's actually it's in a trading zone right now. It re-entered that trading zone, and it probably should actually get up to 456 with no problem. Like
yeah,
you can almost play a lottery ticket on this for 456, but not an option. I'm talking about like on earnings. You know how
Oh,
things
I see.
spike way up and then they spike way down? Like you could almost play a lottery play on this, like 10 shares or something,
if
and
this thing,
just take a quick profit on it.
in my opinion,
Well,
this thing drops $24 on a way better than expected report, which is usually the case on Microsoft. We don't know what is going to happen. Of course, it's an earnings report, so everything goes. I might be buying the dip. So I am answering my own question here. Hey, let me ask you guys about Meta. What do you think
yeah, let's move on to that.
about the earnings report that comes out on Wednesday? Let me share my screen with you once again. And another stock that has gotten hammered. Let me see if I can share this with you guys. So on Wednesday we have, take a look. On Wednesday we have Tessie and Microsoft. We already talked about Microsoft, and we have Meta as well reporting after the close. So another stock that has gotten hammered. It was upgraded today, by the way. We got an unusual collapse alert yesterday, and well, the stock got upgraded today. So, what do you think about Meta, Dan? or
Go ahead,
Danny.
Don.
Sorry.
Oh, me? Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I
This
mean,
is the cheapest
I'm still long
stock
Meta. I
inside
bought it.
the Magnificent Seven cohort, right?
Yeah,
By
I
far.
bought it. I bought it down low after it took a dive after earnings. I guess there's some concern that perhaps the meta strategy to AI is not going to be the one that monetizes correctly, or they're no longer in the winner. That's kind of the scuttlebutt around the name, that they got all this talent and they made all these splashy acquisitions of human of personnel, and
Mhm.
now they just don't know what they're doing with it. And when you reshuffle your AI division 1,000 different times and start, shoving metaverse cuts, I can understand why you might feel that way, but this definitely falls into the permanent compounder basket for me.
Mhm.
Going over the upgrade today, there I can share a chart real quick.
There was a big analyst on the one that upgraded Meta. I don't remember his name, but I made a video, and his name is I think I have it here. Let me see.
Go ahead.
Should have it. No, I don't have it, Andy.
But anyways, with the move today, it's above the 50-day simple moving average. That's
Mhm.
around 639 and change. MACD looks like you're about to get a bullish crossover. RSI is around 50. You want to see that get to 60. And well, OBV is really no signal here. So I look at this and I think this is like a really constructive start, but until you actually get a couple closes above this 50-day, it's hard for me to get too optimistic. If you look at shorter time frames, this is going to be a 6-month with the 13-day exponential as well as the 20-day simple. It looks like it's on target to close above the 20-day simple. So that's positive. And you might also get that 5-day exponential crossing above the 13, which is one of my favorite indicators of short-term momentum. I like the way it's setting up into the quarter. It's good to see some analysts get positive ahead of an earnings report after things have been slammed. A lot of things are setting up for this. I just don't know if I could bring myself to buy it, because if you zoom out a little bit, this is going to be a 2-week yearly.
Mhm.
It's kind of stuck. Like it's going back. I'd rather just wait and see what it does, because in the event that you don't get follow through, you could find yourself back at the orange line, which is the 100-week simple moving average. So this for me is kind of like a yellow light, and I don't know if it's going to turn red or green. So probably not do anything with it until I get clarity from the price.
Well, get these guys. The stock is up today 5%, and Jet Steel is down 18% from the
Yeah,
highs.
no, it's really in a way,
Yeah,
for
the
sure.
negativity is mind blowing. And this is a company that has been reporting way, but way better than expected. So this will be another very interesting earnings support. And this is the cheapest stock inside the Magnificent Seven by a mile. So from a valuation standpoint, this is the one that has the cheapest valuation. So this is the stock that has the largest valuation support into its earnings support. This is going to be a very interesting one for sure. Mhm. Do you
Sorry
have
about
any
that.
labels for us, Dan?
Yeah, well, actually, I wanted to show. It's
Yeah.
funny that in the short term, I actually
Very good analysis, Danny. Thanks, man.
really agree with what Donnie just got done
Yeah,
saying. But in
100%.
the longer term,
Very good chart.
and where he was talking like yellow lights, this is what I wanted to show you right here. This is Elliott wave analysis.
I
And if
love
you
Elliott
see,
Wave.
this is
Mhm.
Elliott wave analysis for Meta. And if you take a look, if we started a 5-wave downtrend actually right around September, it put it as 2-wave pullback, did a 3-wave, where we got decimated. It's just put in the 4, and it's coming back up some now. So in the short term, yes, but actually, if this plays out, and Elliott waves don't always play out, just like any other
Technical
technical
indicator.
indicating,
Mhm.
but this one here is one that I definitely throw caution on as far as like longer term investing, because I'm looking for it to get down. I'm looking for it to pass 583, the low that it had before, and actually continue and make that 5-wave around maybe somewhere 560, 550. And I'm gonna be looking for. Then I'll be looking to get into it on a longer
Right.
term investment. So yeah, that's Elliott wave.
Real
And
quick, Don,
then
after you get that fifth corrective wave, if I remember Elliott theory correctly, you then should start up instead of corrective waves into a bullish phase,
Mhm.
correct? Or is there another?
It's well, yeah, kinda. It's a, let me see here. It'll actually a lot of times it'll return back to the, here we go. There. It'll
Thank
actually,
you.
so it comes down here to the 5, right?
Yep.
A lot of times it'll come back in and it'll retest the 4.
Okay.
So, but it'll
Okay.
retest the 4 in what they call a lot of times it'll retest the 4 in an impulse wave, like an ABC kind of correction rather than a complex move like this. There's that, and then sometimes you got the sideways stuff if it's not looking like it's, wanting to do anything. So, I mean,
No, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So but pretty much everything you said
I'm
is
trying to
right.
show you.
I'm
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying
I'm
to show
looking
you
at
guys
this.
something.
Just let me say this. I'm looking
Yeah.
at this. I'm not showing anything.
Yeah, right now it's a black screen, so maybe try sharing again. There you go.
Mhm.
Now it's
All right,
And I
gone
have
now.
some. I have a technical share that I want to share with you guys, which,
Okay.
in
One
my
sec.
opinion, could be an interesting level for Meta on
Well,
Wednesday.
last
Go
thing I'm
ahead.
going to
Dan.
mention about this,
There it
okay,
is.
because I want to show this to you. Okay, I have this weekly downtrend line right now, and it's pushed up tight against it. It's also pushed up against this moving average. It's the 50 moving average on the weekly. So
You
it's
mind
going to
zooming in?
mean
Oh, you're gonna do. Sorry.
it's going to mean something to get over this, but at the same time, we've
Mhm.
already had such a push to this. I would actually look to possibly short this tomorrow. Look at here, you got a snapback indicator that's fired on the 4
Oh,
hour and then the 1 hour. So
That's 600. What level is that? Down 650, right? It fell today at $650, near $650.
640, 648,
Yeah,
647
650.
area.
I know that. I know that because I've been selling calls of Meta, and I've been doing it, you know, in a very successful way. Let me show you this, guys. This is an excellent stock result call. So let me show this. Let me see if I can show you guys this. Hold on. So, no, you guys. Okay, take a look at this. Can you guys see this? Take a look at this.
Yeah.
Scenes. So I ended up buying 100 shares of Meta on November 24th. Take a look at this. These are call options that I have been selling and buying back over and over and over and over and over again. Take a look at this. Unbelievable. And on top of that, I ended up being paid a dividend on December 23rd
Wow.
of $52. So I've been doing this over and over and over again. So needless to say, guys, the very first technical chart that I take a look at, like at 5 a.m. as soon as I get to my studio is Meta. I've been
Are
doing
you, are
this.
you going, you're going long on it or are these
I know I have
calls?
100 shares. So I recently sold a call that expires on February 20th with a strike of $670, I think. And take a look at all of the premium that I've been accumulating, guys. So if the stock goes up and my shares get called away, so be it. This was a phenomenal trade. And my average cost is $614, which I've been collecting premium. So now, as of now, my average cost is below $600 actually. But
Wow.
this is a very volatile stock, so I am not necessarily interested in holding this for the long term. And I wanted to show you this. Take a look. So these are anchor VWAPs. So anchored volume weighted average price lines. So check this out. So an anchor VWAP that comes from all-time highs, in the case of Meta, $795, is signaling as of now $674. And an anchor VWAP that comes from last year's low, so back in late April, this stock went down to $448. So these two anchor VWAPs are pretty much coinciding at $672. So for the most part, and despite the fact that Meta is 18% off the highs, if this stock can burst above $672, we don't really have a lot of important levels of overhead supply above this level, 672. So say that Meta reports better than expected. Say that the markets, like the report. You never know what could happen because we're talking about an earnings report. If this thing starts to consolidate above 695, I think that it could be off to the races. So this will be a very interesting report. Oh, by the way, and I didn't tell you guys the expected move. So let me check on that quickly. So get this, the expected move, $45. So this will not be for the faint of heart. $45.
Yeah.
So interesting. Hey, should we review Tessie reporting on the same day?
sure.
Done. Don't tell me that Tesla is the future, man. I'm not buying that. And I'm long the stock, but Elon is such a liar. I mean, in the case of Tesla, what is really going to matter is the press conference. That's when, if Elon is very good at lying, the stock pops. If he gets nervous and he doesn't lie very well, then the stock drops. So it all comes down to the press conference and the way that Elon is going to be lying to us, telling us about. Hey, by the way, the robot, what is the name of the robot on Donnie?
What, Optimus?
Optimus Prime or whatever it is.
Yep.
Elon said today at the, Davos, whatever it is, in Switzerland, that the robot, that the humanoid, whatever that is going to be ready for, in order for everyone that is interested in to be able to buy it. It's going to be ready in December. Are you interested in buying one of those, Danny?
Me?
It can make your dinner. What
Maybe
do you
for
think,
my
Dan?
Nana, not for me. Not ready for that.
Elon said that robot was going to be able to babysit.
So. Yeah, well, can it Nana sit? I don't got any kids yet, but I got a grandma.
But if you're planning on having kids, then you should be considering buying one of those.
No, I'll take care of my own kids. Thanks, though. All good.
Don, what labels did you have on Tessie?
Donnie,
by the way, we were today. I mean, earlier on today, you can say it, Don. So we were like Donnie, exchanging messages earlier on today, and then told me like, "Hey, Tessie's about to pop," and it did. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Hey, did you have anything that you wanted to share in regards to the fundamentals, Donnie?
Fundamentals with Tesla is kind of a fool's errand. I mean, a lot of people, when it goes up, they're like, Tesla's the future, bro. And when it goes down, they're like, well, they don't actually make any money. I happen to kind of take the chance that either of those guys is right really just depends on what the stock is doing that day. I think Tesla is a legitimate company that's doing some cool things. Maybe it's pie in the sky, but you want to see that from innovators. The only thing I would add is that this company does, as a matter of fact, do much better when the EV business is doing, because that makes the earnings look better. And when your earnings look better, the stock market is generally willing to have a little bit more, or will give you a longer leash when it comes to how imaginative
it kind of validates the story, right? You're right about that, man.
So, I mean, I understand that now we're done with the EV tax credits. I don't know. I got a Tesla I started leasing a Tesla during the huge promotion, $325 a month, best lease I could get. Best lease almost anyone get, I could assume. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they did enough to pad their numbers for this quarter, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to give them the leash for Elon to talk his game.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, actually, when I look at this chart, it is a really fascinating chart when you look at it. Let's start over here on the weekly over here, right? We're going to start right here. Okay. Look at this candle that it put in, where it actually pierced down below the daily uptrend line, but then it recaptured it. Like that's classic liquidity, gains. It also recaptured this 20 period moving average right here on the weekly chart. So
now, please remember, let us know the levels, because we cannot see them from here.
Yeah, I'm going to do that in just a second. Okay. But I want to go over here now to the daily chart. So here we are now over here on the daily right here. Okay. And take a look at this. It has this trading range right here that it's kind of been in really since about the beginning of September. Okay. And then, and I just, it's one of the things that makes me love technical analysis, right? Look at how it broke this downtrend line, or this uptrend line right here, and then continued to go lower, right there. So what I'm looking at when I'm looking at this chart, it's now getting stopped here by the 20 period moving average. It put in a snapback right here, and also if you look on this time frame right here, which is the 15-minute time frame, that's the same one, and that level is 448. Okay, so there's a seller right there at 448, and they tried several times to get over it, and it just wasn't going to happen. So that is definitely a number to keep on your list. Now, the thing about I call it snapback because a lot of times it will snap back, but actually it's also an indication of strength. If you can get above this, then that indicator has turned from being a resistance to being actually support. So this it's very interesting that the way it's snapped through that downtrend line, that uptrend line right here, and then it actually continued to capture that and pick up some support. Since you're in this trading range right here between 471 and 23, we'll say right there. Once you enter that trading range, a lot of times it'll go all the way to the top of it. So a lot of times it'll hit the middle, come down here, and might retest this uptrend line right there. And it might be a nice little swing to go up there at least to 471 from 446 where we're at right now. Looking at your levels, we're on the 4-hour chart over here. You got 447 is the number it's trying to get over right now. 454 is your next number, and it's also coincides with the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. And down beneath you, you have 434.
Yeah,
Any
get
questions,
this,
guys?
bro. The expected move is $30, and this is a very volatile stock when reporting earnings. So the swings are going to be wild, especially during the press conference. So that is something to keep in mind if you're trading the stock into the report. So you are in for a 30% push to either the upside or the downside, and this is a very volatile stock.
You know what? There's one more thing
So
I wanted to mention in regards to technical analysis. So that's
oh,
why
by
I
the
was
way,
saying I
guys,
love the
quickly, so they are pulling the rug out into the closing bell today. We can talk about that before we finish the podcast. Go ahead then.
Well, real quick, I just wanted to show you guys this because this is something I noticed time and time again. Look at this overshoot from this trading range that you had right here. Actually, let me use a circle there so we really you see that? Look how it does look how it does the exact opposite on the opposite side. I see this all the time. So like you get the overshoot out of the trading range. Once it comes up, then it does an overshoot over the top of the trading range. So it's just interesting, just an interesting note. What I'm looking at is I want to see it get out of this trading range and I want to either get support and then move higher or go ahead and go under. I don't care which direction and we'll go lower. Okay. But right now, it's a day trade within the trading range. Outside of the trading range, I would be looking at a possible swing.
Yeah, the stock is, when it comes to evaluating the stock from a fundamental standpoint or from a financial standpoint, this is a tough one, guys, because it's been always priced to perfection. So take a look, 11% when it comes to year-over-year revenue growth, nothing spectacular. Revenue finally started to go higher on Q3 of last year, which is quote-unquote positive. But here comes the deal, guys. Take a look at the forward P ratio, all-time highs. This company, or the stock of this company, trades at 228 times forward earnings. Absolutely priced to perfection.
Well, do you
No
think
doubt
anyone
about
in
it.
the stock actually cares about that?
Yeah, so correct. So to your point,
I don't.
Danny,
I'm not even in it, and I don't care about that.
correct. So it all comes down to the press conference. If Elon can, if Elon can, pump the stock successfully by line and line and line because Tesla is the future, bro. And if the markets buy it, then who cares about the valuation? The stock can go up $30. Guys, I've been covering live for the members of my Patreon in Spanish every single press conference of Elon during the last 5 years. I've been translating those press conferences into Spanish for them, and sometimes it's very effective. I don't know why. Selling his Tesla is the future, bro. And other times, I don't know. He's unfocused. He hesitates when he speaks, and that's when the markets usually hit the stock very hard. And on top of that, and to your point, Danny, if the company can report or can post a decent report from an automobile standpoint, that also helps Elon during the press conference. So that is going to be critical. A $30 expected move. The technical chart, doesn't say much as of now. We can say that, right, Dan? And the stock is ultra priced to perfection. So I don't know. That's the ongoing situation here with Tessie. Yeah.
Yeah, nicely done. Do you want to talk a little about the rug getting pulled, or do you want to do? I think Apple's the only one that's reporting this week.
Into a closing bill. Nothing crazy. No, go ahead, bro. We can wait a bit
Well,
more.
If you want to talk about Apple, I think in the pre-show we did all mention that we recently started positions, which means everyone should buy puts immediately.
We all are losing money on Apple.
We are the contrarian signal. I mean, they report on Thursday after.
Yeah.
I don't know if just fundamentally speaking, unless you guys cover the charts, 'cause I don't want to take up too much time here. There's really not much for me to say. This is just an iPhone story. I think people have been pleasantly surprised about how well people have been replacing their old phones for this one. There is some optimism now that with Gemini, Siri will become, I guess, less stupid. I don't know if we're going to say it's going to work, but it finally seems like Apple and Google, despite some regulatory concerns, are now in bed together again, and everything is well in the world. So I'm optimistic, but at the end of the day, this is a matter of what their iPhone sales are and what that means for their service
Which
revenue.
have been
Because-
picking up, Don.
Yeah. Yes. Mhm.
They've been
Yes, and
picking up,
that's-
even in China. So that could be a
yeah,
positive catalyst.
which is very
for-
impressive because it's good to see the Chinese economy working, especially if you're an international name. And I mean, man, 3-4 years, it seemed like there was a lot of pessimism surrounding that market. So
Yeah, it's an
that
11
that is a big
buck
change.
expected move.
How much?
Another
Sorry, say that
stock
again?
that will be that will. I mean, next week. I mean, the certain movements in certain stocks will be coming fast and furious, guys. It's an 11 buck expected move. Go ahead, Don. What do you got for us in the case of Apple? I agree with everything you said, Donnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen. By the way, I was able to increase the font size a little bit on my numbers. So can you see?
Oh,
them?
I'm
Oh,
curious.
yeah.
By the way, sorry for interrupting
Looks a
you.
little
So,
better.
what was the motivation for you to start a position on Apple, then?
He's talking to
Me?
you.
Yeah,
me?
Don Let, my friend. I mean,
Okay,
Dan
well,
is
I'll-
also my
I'll-
friend, but my
I'll-
my
I'll sh-
my
I'll
older
show
friend.
you. It was really, honestly, it's
Funny.
just been beaten down so much. It's probably not the greatest technical analysis, but this 250 area it hasn't been tested. It's being tested now, and it's looked like on the weekly, it's trying to put in a nice hammer candle. Weekly hammer candles at certain levels really mean something. Also, you don't get a lot of these on my snapbacks. You don't get a lot of them on the daily. You got one on the daily right there, which means that's a very important level. That's 244. And then on top of that, it's coming into this 200 period moving average. If you look at the last time it actually came into that 200 period moving average, it didn't.
That's 234 bucks, right, Don?
244.
Oh,
Is the
my
low.
200 day is at 234. It's a period, so it's a different time frame. Okay. My bad, bro. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. But if you look over here at the last time it came into the moving average over here, it didn't quite hit it, right? And then you have your up move. So I'm kind of, it's a really low risk, high reward kind of play when you're thinking about it. I'm always started a little bit of a position. And if it breaks the low, I'm out.
What low?
So
The low comes in at what? It's
244 right here.
243. Okay.
Breaks
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah,
Breaks
but
244.
remember, we have Apple is reporting on Thursday, and we have an expected move of 11 bucks. So I mean, it's an earnings report, so anything goes, as I said before. But yeah, this stock is going to be in motion. And by the way, Danny and I were talking about Apple. I don't know, November or October or something like that. And Danny said that Apple was going to be able to make a brand new all-time highs without any AI story behind it. And I said no. He was right. He ended up being right. So Apple ended up making new all-time highs. I don't know when. When was that, Danny? November or something like that, right?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
It made a brand new all-time highs. And you said that Apple is considered like some sort of a consumer staple stock. And
I'd say it's defensive tech.
it's a defensive tech, correct? So the AI story, the artificial intelligence, is nowhere to be found on the stock or in regards to this company. So yeah,
well, you got to love
to
it.
your point.
It felt like for like several months the stock was getting absolutely destroyed for not having an AI strategy, and then when people realized that, oh wait, we actually want these AI companies to make money, they're like, oh well, Apple hasn't put themselves in that hole, so we're going to reward them
Correct.
for waiting. It's just funny how fickle the market can be. Yeah.
Yeah, but so if they don't say anything about artificial intelligence, but iPhone sales go up, then that's a potential positive catalyst for the
Yeah,
stock
I
to be
think the
rewarded
only
with a
reason that a
positive
stock
reaction.
like Apple, sorry, I think the only reason that a stock like Apple and a stock like Costco can both trade at more than 30 times forward is the reliability of their earnings.
Mhm.
So as long as you have in your back pocket as an investor that people are going to keep sending Apple a check every month for Apple services and people are going to keep paying their yearly subscription to Costco, then you don't really care what else is going on.
Agreed. Any thoughts on
Real
that,
quick,
Dan?
Don,
Mhm.
if you don't mind, you mind if I share something real quick with you?
No, go ahead. Love it.
Sure. I'm just going to take over here.
Go ahead.
Uh, you mentioned that Apple was really, really beat up when you bought it. It's funny, that was exactly my motivations as well. On this pane below here is just a 14-day RSI. The last time it got to this like high teens area was the tariff tantrum in April. And when I saw it go there again, I'm like, all right, that seems like there's enough pessimism there. And you have what many people would say is a bearish rejection where it went below 30 on the RSI, couldn't get above, got sent back down. In theory, I should have waited for RSI to get to like 31 or 32 because, in theory, this could just keep living in this oversold area here. But when a stock that's this blue chip gets this beaten to the ground, I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt is a better way of putting it. But just exactly what you were saying. This stock has not just been beaten down like you can see it in the chart. Statistically speaking, Apple hasn't been this beaten down since April.
I think
Yeah,
that
the
was
risky
great
word
insight.
seems to make
Thank
sense.
you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep, 100%. Hey guys, what about SoFi reporting on Friday?
Wait,
Such a retail
can I mention
darling.
can I
Real
mention one
quick,
more
Don
thing?
had something else to share. Pull
Okay,
it
go
back
ahead,
up,
bro.
Don.
I'm
Before
not
we
going to
go over
share
SoFi.
anything. I just wanted to mention something.
Oh,
The other
Mhm.
reason why I thought about Apple, and I mentioned it to Alvaro about maybe a week or two ago, I was like, look, it's testing that weekly low, or the weekly high from previous time frame. I'm watching this, and now I pulled the trigger. It was really today, like within hours, I pulled the trigger. Not a major position, really a starter position. But one of the reasons why also is that I've noticed it recently in the market, it's beginning to move back into tech. Okay, you saw
Mm.
Meta pop right today. You saw, Nvidia had a pop like a few days ago. They're really starting to look now back at tech, and has tech been beaten up enough that they're actually going to start to put money back into it? Everybody knows are around the corner, so I'm thinking to myself that right around now, it just because, and who's been the losers? Because that's also been a theme this year. The losers have started to become the winners this year as of January. And so Apple's one of the losers. So
yeah, that's
because
excellent
you
insight.
kind of get this feeling, there's something with trading this market that's sometimes also intuition. And Alvaro, when I think intuition, I think of you, man. That was something that's why I gravitated towards you when we were in trading rooms together, man. You
Yeah.
always like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy this." I'm like, "What the hell are you doing? You're buying it at the very bottom." But a
Yeah, I
lot
do
of
remember
times you
that
were
with
right on
Boeing,
point. You were right
like
on
6 years
point, and your
ago, something like
intuition has
that.
always been really good. So
Yeah.
I would
Thanks,
say
man.
as you get in the market and you begin trading like you did, Donnie, and you were like, "Man, this just seems too good to let go of." You traded your intuition on that, and sometimes intuition is one of the strongest things you can trade off of. And that is part of my consensus in regards to like why did I pull the trigger on Apple today? It was an intuition about what I'm starting to see the markets do. Will it continue to do that? I don't know. Who
Yeah,
knows?
for these tech stocks to keep quote unquote recovering, we need to wait for the earnings reports. So yeah, that would have to validate a potential push to the upside. That, by the way, guys, so most of these stocks are being faded as of now. I'm talking about the intraday push to the upside because the markets have been pulling back into the closing bell, but we'll see. I mean, this is a short term thing. Hey guys, SoFi, such a retail darling, and this is another stock that is way off the highs. And SoFi is reporting on Friday. So, what do you guys think about this? And by the way, we have the Federal Open Market Committee on Wednesday as well. So,
We did. I forgot about that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
we have the Federal Open Market Committee on that is going to be the first meeting of the year. We know that the Fed isn't going to be cutting rates, and SoFi as of now is pretty much entering into a bear market, a technical bear market. That is, it is 19% of the highs. So, any thoughts on SoFi, my good friends?
I could defer to Don here. I mean, I'm looking at the chart. It looks a lot like Robinhood to me, which makes sense.
Oh,
Seems
that's
like
another
these
stock
kind
that
of
is
things are
getting
getting
hammered
yeah.
day after day and day after day. Yeah,
It's
good point, Don.
below the 50 and the 100, above the two. I'm just gonna check because that's not super
Uh-huh.
insightful for anybody. All right. Here's something we can talk. Here's something we can talk about. Let me share this with you guys. Do. Right now, it's retesting Carter Worth's 150-day simple moving average,
Mhm.
which is that's not the right price. Hold on.
But what is that,
Yes,
Danny?
20,
25, I think?
25, 39, it
Mhm.
looks like, trying to get the last day there. I mean, as long as it stays above this, I think you can maintain a bullish bias. But I mean, I'm sure, and Don, I'm sure we'll do a better job looking at the shorter term time frames. Maybe it gives you a different story. But I do see. Let me see if I can draw a line to it. Um, draw line. Maybe. Oh, I hate this new. There we go. Maybe it's finally breaking this like downward bias it has. If it can just start going sideways, but I don't know. It's not something I have a lot of strong conviction in. But the 150-day is something I watch, something I like, and as long as it's above it, I feel like the uptrend is still intact.
Thoughts on that, Don?
Yeah, actually, I pulled up the Elliott wave on that, and I was kind of surprised to see what I saw, so I'll share it with you. It's actually, and according to Elliott, it's in a 5 wave trend to the upside.
Oh,
The fourth wave low is 2354, so that negligates the 5 wave. So right now you're at 25, and it's basically saying basically 2350. If it goes below that, then it's not a 5 wave. So it's if it breaks this if it breaks that downtrend line, and that downtrend line, by the way, it's looking like a little bit of a wedge, isn't it? A falling wedge. You got
yeah, a
this
little.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
that,
would agree.
right? So I'd love to see it, go out and do like this, and then go up. But Elliott wave, if you notice, like this is taking us all the way out to August. Like this is not short term trading, okay? But the nice thing
Oh,
about like seeing something in the extreme long term is if you're going to day trade this, then a lot of times you'll day trade it to the upside, right?
Right.
That's your bias going into like a day trade. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised about this. It's actually saying it looks like it's about 150% move that it's projecting over here. The tap box is over here around 4250 from 25. That's probably about 150% move. It's pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I mean but to that downside point at 2350, that's what 11-12%. But I mean, if you're going to go up to what did you say the upside was?
4250.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's fine. Upside, downside. Yeah. If you're
Here's your
willing to
tap
make
box
that
right
much
here.
money.
See
Oh,
it
okay. I
right
see. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
right here.
Well,
Mm.
that call out will have a lot of people buy lips of Sofi tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.
Well, but I'm going to say this too, though, in regards to being, in
We'll have a
regards to
lot of
like
people
looking
buying
at the
lips,
technicals here.
2027 lips
It's really
with that
stuck in this
upside, 42
sideways.
bucks.
Look at this sideways action there. And
Do you see anything on
honestly,
the screen,
No, I
Alvaro?
cannot
I'm
see anything,
sorry.
Don. It's black.
oh, okay. So you know what happens is when I
Mhm.
go from a different, okay, when I go from Elliott wave to my think or swim, apparently I go blank. Okay, I'll have to remember that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess
Well,
it's
no,
probably an application issue. Yeah.
no,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sharing the window instead of the screen. Okay, my
yeah, I can
bad.
show. I can show. Okay, there you go. We got
No,
it.
I
It's
got you.
back.
Sorry
We
about
got
You're
it.
that.
good.
Okay.
Okay, let's do
You're
this
fine.
again. Okay, so on the daily chart, you're stuck in this trading range like forever since August.
That's between what, like 30 and 25, right?
Yeah, between 30 and
Mm-hmm.
26. There's
26.
your
Okay.
numbers right here.
Mhm.
29, 86, 2609.
Yeah, that's a consolidation pattern. I mean, take a look.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
It could go
Clearly.
either way. It could go either way. You never know, right?
right.
The
But
longer the base, the
but
bigger the breakout. But you don't know
but
where the
in a
breakout is
bull
going to be
market,
headed to.
consolidations tend to break to the upside. So I
Yeah,
mean,
because you're a bull. If you were a bird, you would say the.
no,
It's,
there's no bull or bear. It's in an uptrend. It's just statistics.
I'm just.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
I
kidding.
don't
here's
care what
your
happens to SoFi.
I think this is like the Elliott wave low right there, right? So, I
Yep.
mean, honestly, like it looks like like a pretty decent chart. But
Oh,
it's
I
not
didn't tell
something
you
to
guys
day
expect the
trade right
move.
now. It's too sideways for me.
Mhm.
I wouldn't day trade this right now.
It's
I
extremely
hate
choppy, right?
I hate
It's very
seeing
choppy. Yeah.
something. It's as far as moving averages go. I hate seeing when the moving average is completely sideways. It doesn't give you, in that case, let me show you something I have on this. This is a custom indicator that I build on these moving average. I'll use a thing called a band on this in order to actually figure out if I wanted to get into it. Uh, we'll change it to the 20, and I'll just show you like what ends up happening is that you can use the moving average as sort of like the center line rather than the rather than support or resistance.
Yeah.
It
I
must
wanted to show you something. So the expected move, the expected move is $3, which is a lot for a $25 stock.
12%.
Correct, pretty much.
all right. There
And
you
yeah,
go.
the markets will be focused on growth for the most part. So, do you have something else to show you to show us
He's
then?
showing the bands down there. Can
Yeah.
you, if you
Okay.
don't mind, could you make that larger, the screen?
Yeah,
Zoom in
let's
on that
do
one?
that.
There you go.
There, and let's go ahead. Let's just go full screen on this one, okay? Because
Yeah, no,
I do
this is
want you
really
to
cool.
I do want you to see this,
Mhm.
okay? So in this case here, when you're looking at moving averages or sideways, try to find the one that seems to be center of the moving average. And then I built this thing called bands. So you could see that it was a buy down here because it was on the outside of the band. And I actually used this for day trading today on one stock. I can't remember. It might have been Tesla because Tesla went in a sideways movement. And I accumulated down here and then I'd take off a little bit up here and it continued to accumulate. But then I had to get out because I was ready to take a break. But you can see as you get down to the bottom of these bands, as you get towards the top, then it's the time to actually sell. So you could use this for an accumulation, but right now, as far as a moving average goes, it's not going to provide you information in regards to it's above the moving average. Well, if it's above the moving average, usually we tend to think, oh, if it's above the moving average, we need to buy. Well, in this case, it's sideways. It's above the moving average. It's on the outside of the band. It's time to
Mhm.
sell. You understand what I'm saying? So the
Mhm.
context of like what you're determining the moving average depends on how the moving average is actually laying out. So this is something that I'm glad that we had a chance to show you
That's cool.
because
This is a little bit like Bollinger Bands, no?
it is, but, I don't like the Bollinger Bands because they go out so far that I can't
No,
get a
they're
good bearing on them. So I made this one I set it to, like, it's 1 standard deviation on it, but I also set it in my indicator to where you could change it to whatever you wanted to, depending on how that stock is trading. So right now it's set to 1 ATR multiplier, but,
mm,
1 ATR for this probably isn't enough, probably needs to be about 1.2 or 1.5.
Mhm.
And so, you can adjust it, but if you're say you're wanting to get into SoFi, then I would use something like this where I'm buying the bottom of that band, okay?
that's
Or
cool. I see what you're saying.
Keltner channel or even Bollinger Band. I'll buy the bottom of that. But then because it hasn't determined that it's going to break up above, say I'll buy 100 shares down here and I'll sell 50 shares. Then I'll buy
Yeah.
another 100 shares here and maybe pile on a little more here. And then as it comes back up to the top, I'll sell, partials. So that I'm continuing to accumulate, but I'm also actually building a little bit of a profit and a cushion in case it goes lower. This way, a lot of times I'll end up trading something where I actually would have lost, ends up being a break even.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you guys this. So let me see before we wrap it up because we are more than 1 hour in. So this company has been growing. Take a look at a very steady pace, to say the least. So they reported a record revenue on for Q3 of last year. So the markets will be focused mainly on the growth of the company, and revenue is expected at $972 million. This company usually beats on revenue. Free cash flow is a bit tougher for SoFi, and the same thing goes for net income. But the markets will be like pretty much exclusively focused on revenue growth. If SoFi, and taking into account that the stock is 20% of the highs, this company can, I don't know, maybe make 990 million or maybe $1 billion of revenue for the first time ever. And take a look at how bullish the markets are as of now into the report. So 91% of earnings whisper subs believe that SoFi will be beating on both earnings and on revenue and earnings per share, and 68% of earnings whisper subs believe that the reaction of the markets might actually be positive.
Wow.
So the company has been doing pretty well, I would say, on the metrics that the markets are focused on. They usually report better than expected, and the stock is 20% off the highs. So this will be another interesting report that we are getting next week, in my opinion. Any thoughts on the fundamentals of the company, Danny?
I mean, I think they're an incredible story in the fintech, fin banking world.
Mhm.
They're pretty much becoming a bank without any of the physical locations, which, aside from labor, is your highest cost. So, in theory, once they finally reach their scale, they should really become a free cash flow machine. I think you can also add the fact that they have the flywheel of the student loan. They have a lot of student loans on their books. So, in theory, by having those student loans and banking with those students over the next 10, 15, 20 years, you would expect that the people that bank with SoFi are in the, top quartile of earners in the country as opposed to the bottom quartile of earners in the country. So you have a great, say banking base. The only potential downside is that perhaps you could maybe make the argument that there are so many people trying to do finance adjacent applications, whether it be PayPal or um, what's the other one? Chime. There's a handful of other ones that are kind of trying to
There
do
are some
similar,
competitors
offer
out there.
similar
Yeah.
service. So you
Mhm.
could say there's some competition, but at the end of the day, they have a bank charter. PayPal came to mind because I think they're trying to buy a bank or acquire a bank charter. So maybe you see something from them, but SoFi definitely has the right strategy.
And you're right. So the company is still free cash, is cash flow negative, and I mean free cash flow was negative by 1.3 billion dollars on the last reported on the last reported earnings. But I mean, let's face it, the markets are pretty much focused as of now on revenue growth. The company is growing at a very impressive pace, actually. So this company beats on earnings with the stock being down 20% of the highs, and taking into account that this is a super ultra retail darling. And you might see a potential positive reaction there. Let me show you this, guys. So take a look at the revenue growth expectations for the upcoming years. So for this year, 27% and 21% for 2027. So the company should be up guiding. Let's just put it that way. If the analysts that are covering SoFi are spot on, because they are expected to be able to grow revenue by 20% in 2026 and also in 2027. So this will be another interesting report that
Hey,
we are.
hold on. Scroll to the top of that. I want to see the top of that,
Oh,
if you
my
don't
bad.
mind.
So I'll stop sharing my screen.
I
And
by the way, guys, that's exactly why I love your show. Donnie and Alvaro, that was incredible analysis that you just gave me. I'm I'm seriously going to be watching this. Yeah, I just wanted to see what the analysts said. You
yeah,
know, they
$37 for the most
I mean,
bullish analysts.
I mean
The
honestly,
neutral ones,
a-
25, and the bearish ones, 17.
analysts are joke because they just constantly go in and then upgrade and then reprice
Sometimes
stuff
they chase
after the
stocks.
fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's
sometimes they
You
always
know,
chase
it's always
stocks.
nice to see
Either the
what they're
upside or the
got.
downside. It happens. I mean, it's just true.
Yeah.
It happens.
I
Yeah.
I see this. I see you got someone with a 37 and someone with a 17. That tells me the street has no idea what they're doing. There's no
Yeah.
consensus here.
Well,
So,
Yeah, the spread is very wide. You can make a case.
well,
I,
in
I,
other words, I don't know. I think the guy that has a 37 needs to get into a room with the guy that has 17, and they need to
Try to
talk to
figure
each
out
other
this difference.
because there's no way they all have the same information. They shouldn't be coming to that different a price.
Yeah. So what I'm
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, the point that I'm trying to make here is like the markets are very optimistic about the report. That doesn't imply that SoFi will report better than expected, but take a look at these guys: 91% of a positive expectation on revenue and EPS, and 67% of earnings whisper subs believe that the stock should be going up. The stock is 20% of the highs. And if we take a look at the revenue growth expectations, so this company should be able to grow to should be able to keep growing at a very accelerated pace, at least until early 2028. So I mean that presets a potential bullish scenario for SoFi next week. We'll see what happens. It's an earnings report, so anything goes here. So it is what it is. And I think that's a wrap, right? It's
That's a
an
great,
hour
yeah,
and 10
that's a
minute
fantastic episode.
podcast. So we covered a bunch of stocks and for the most part, this might be the most interesting, or I would say the most anticipated earnings reports that are coming out next week, and we'll see what happens if the 493 stocks can catch up.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
skeptical.
Don,
we'll
thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure to meet you. Hopefully, we'll get to talk a little bit more. Honestly, some of the stuff you were sharing there, super cool, super insightful. I'm gonna have to remake some of my screens. That that's pretty. Those were pretty cool. If you'd like to find Don Lett at Stocks Artistry, you'll find his links in the description box below. Of course, you'll find a link to my blog and a link to my YouTube in the box below as well. If you're here, you know where to find Alvaro. And if you're feeling like you want to get a little bit more on any of this stuff, you can join the Discord. I'm there. Sometimes I'm a little spicy. And it's a fun time. We have a good community
Oftentimes,
there.
I would say, but you know.
Oftentimes, yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
There you go.
another thing I'll do, Donnie, is or Gorilla. By
Sure.
the way, thank you guys so much for having me on. It was a pleasure.
No, it
I
was a
really
pleasure.
enjoyed it.
Again.
It was a
It was our
pleasure, for
pleasure.
sure.
This
Yeah.
is my passion.
There you go.
Another thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll grab the transcript on this, and I'll create a blog on my page as well, so they can also refer to
Okay, great.
notes. Okay, because it'll tell
Great.
the levels and it'll tell everything that we talked about. So if
right.
if they want to have like written notes, then I'll have that for you as well. Okay.
There you go.
Excellent.
So, Donnie, are you in Florida?
I'm in Florida now. I'll be back up in the cold next week for a
Yeah.
week.
Oh,
So Don from the Dominican Republic and Alvaro Parra from the beautiful city of Charlotte in North Carolina. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you guys. Take
Bye.
care,
Bye.
everybody.
bye.